All right, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We are going to be beginning the program. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is sure to be a memorable event. Tonight, we take an affectionate look at the life and career of our friend, Dick Story. But make no mistake about it, tonight is not a tribute. We already had one of those. Tonight is a roast, so be warned. We may be a little naughty, we may be a little bawdy, but always with the respect that Dick deserves, which is to say none. I could get used to that. So leave your delicate sensitivities at the door and join us tonight as we poke fun at our friend. Now we're going to need your help. You'll notice on your table we have your official Dick Story masks. Before the end of the night, those are going to be highly collectible, so make sure that you take it home with you. Some of you may recall an incident at the Chamber Signature event a couple of years ago where one of Dick's bloopers made it into the program. Yep. How many people were there? How many remember that? Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I happen to have that blooper right here. Through the magic of technology, whenever I want to... You want to hear it again? Yeah. All right. But I'm going to need your help. We're going to press that button throughout the evening, and whenever we do, I want you to hold up your masks. Let's do it right now. Hold up your masks. Everybody hold up your masks. All right? And when you hear Dick say... I want you all to yell out, "Oh, shit." All right? Let's try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That was pretty good, but you can do better. Here we go. Perfect, perfect. All right, we're going to have a good time tonight. And now, with the help of a special group of ladies that we like to call Dick's Dollies, I'd like you to join me in welcoming the man of the hour, Dick Story.
He's Please sit down.
Dick's story surrounded by a bunch of beautiful women. Imagine that. Go figure. Well, we have an esteemed group of roasters here this evening, and we're going to jump right into it. I'd like to introduce the first person to have at it, Mr. Dennis Lane.
Wow, they're all here tonight. Friends of yours? I don't know. We'll find out. You know, there are a lot of people who are lauding Dick Story's achievements lately, showering him with accolades and laying laurels at his feet for 17 years of community service and economic prosperity in Howard County. Tonight, I'm not going to be one of them. You see, my history with Dick Story in Howard County has been a decidedly different experience. I first really got to know Dick when we were in leadership together in 1995. He was still the new guy in town back then. It all started out well enough. Dick and I were both kind of the class cut-ups, quick with jokes or irreverent observations. I always figured that the rest of the class sort of viewed us equally in the class clown category. I was sadly deluded. I soon came to understand that while Dick's antics were seen as funny and endearing, whatever I did merely annoying. You remember. Case in point was the day our class was focused on education. Early in the day, Dick and I had convinced the rest of the class that we should elect a class king and class queen. During the lunch break, the female members of the class formed a voting block in a secret gender-exclusive meeting in the ladies' room. When the ballots were counted, Dick was announced king. I was elected queen. 17 years later, George Dosh, another member of the class, still calls me Queenie whenever he sees me. I know how impressed my kid was when we went to pick up our new car and the owner of the place greeted me with a big, "Hiya, Queenie!" Our relationship continued to decline after that, though I remained clueless. It wasn't long after the Queenie episode that I found myself in the position to help Dick become a hero in his new job. I was working with a large Howard County employer that was planning to move their offices. Early on in the process, I learned that the head of this particular business unit was not really interested in pursuing a new site in Howard County. This particular executive was really more interested. He lived in Montgomery County. He was more interested in shortening his commute at the expense of most of his employees. Unbeknownst to the superiors of his company, he was only talking to Montgomery County about possible economic incentives, and not to Dick. I gave Dick a heads up on that one. You remember. Yeah, this is how the story ends. The story ends, of course, with Dick winning the day yet again, when the company ends up staying in Howard County with hundreds of happy employees, thanking Dick, and a triumphant announcement by Jim Roby of our wonderful business-friendly environment. Though the head of the business unit didn't shorten his commute, he also didn't lose his job. So when it somehow linked that I was the one who tipped off Dick, I lost a client. Not to mention a sizable commission. One of the employees did send me a plant, though. Thank you. I think it died. You'd think I learned, but I didn't. By the year 2000, Dick was extolling the brave new world of fiber optics in Howard County, then led by companies like Corvus, who snatched up buildings in the county as quickly as developers could deliver them. Dick openly worried that we'd soon run out of inventory if new buildings weren't built quickly enough. I rationalized that the third time's the charm, and this then would be my Dick Story moment. My partners and I proceeded to build 130,000 square feet tailor-made buildings for this photonic frenzy. They were completed just as that bubble popped. Took over 2 years to lease those buildings. By that time, any notion of profit had long since vanished like a photon in a fiber optic cable. Dick soldiered on, though. I'd see him quoted in the paper as saying things like, "This was a small hiccup in an otherwise dynamic county." Dick's hiccup was my heart attack. It was like Nero fiddling while Rome burned. So it is with great pleasure tonight that I celebrate Dick's retirement. While others will say he will be missed, I will be drinking a toast to having survived 17 years of his help. It couldn't come at a better time either. My partners and I just finished construction of a new office building in the county. With Dick gone, I figure we got a halfway decent chance of leasing it. Good luck, JP. He's all yours now.
All right, just because I can. Yeah, it just never gets old. Very good, very good. They can be trained. All right. Next up, you know him, you love him. You know, when we were gathering together our group of roasters, we said we need somebody who is hilarious. Someone who has a reputation for being bawdy and unpredictable and just a loose cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Glykoff.
Loose cannon. I'll mention that to my wife when I get home tonight. I think she'll like that. Yeah. I was first introduced to Dick's story while participating in Economic Development Day with Leadership Howard County, class of 1997. I recall thinking, who is this guy? And what does he do?
We're still trying to figure that out.
Since then, we've served together on boards of directors for Leadership Howard County, the United Way, Humanum, and the Boy Scouts. Throughout, he has been an endless supporter of Howard County General Hospital and our Howard Hospital Foundation. Let me tell you about a few roles that Dick has played repeatedly over the years. Maybe you have seen him in action as the recruiter. When you need a name, go to the human Rolodex. Dick has an open invitation to the Board Development Committee, what you and I really know to be the recruitment committee of nearly every nonprofit in the county. He's been a perennial backbone to Howard County General Hospital's board recruitment, as well as many others. I first sought Dick's recruitment expertise, when I was asked to chair the Friends of Scouting campaign back in 1998. A relative newcomer to Howard County, Shirley Burrell, said, "Go see Dick Story to help you identify some people for the Friends of Scouting committee." He welcomed me to his office and whipped out his Palm Pilot. Yes, we're going back. Started ticking off names and phone numbers. And he was not shy about inviting me to drop his name and tell prospective committee members I was referred by him. I was shocked how many of his referrals not only took my call but agreed to serve. What dirt has this guy got on me? He is truly one of the original data miners. How about Dick the volunteer? What a resume. When I go to events where Dick is introduced and they run down the list of his volunteer affiliations, I'm reminded of the high school junior who joins the chess and Latin clubs to ensure an application of a well-rounded student perfectly suited for admission to the finest colleges. Now, just thinking about Dick as a high school junior, much less one in the Latin club, conjures up certain images. But I digress. The amazing thing is, Dick not only goes to all those board and committee meetings and task force meetings, but he usually stays awake, and he always gets a cup of coffee when he's there. When does this guy have time to go to the office? In the years that I've known him, I've never seen him on the 5th floor of the Columbia Gateway Building. How did he pull that off? Let's not forget Dick the fundraiser, a true legend. It's not widely known, but Leadership U Scholarship Endowment was largely the result of the dogged efforts of our guest of honor, Shakedown Dick. You're going to remember that. I felt it up close and personal. Last year, my wife Sue and I were attending one of the usual round of spring fundraisers, where I made the costly mistake of making eye contact with Dick with Shakedown while he was enjoying his stint as a guest auctioneer. A few minutes later, I was the proud owner of a very pricey package of date nights, theater tickets, restaurant gift certificates, a weekend escape. Sue was delighted until my son had to put off college for a year while we were paying off the bid that we owed on Dick's extracted from us. This is a guy who Bernie Madoff would be proud of. And then there's Dick the Boy Scout. Dick has always exemplified the Scout oath and law. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, comical, brazen, etc. He has been a tireless supporter of Scouting in Howard County and throughout the Baltimore area. As the MC of the Good Scout Breakfast every November, he's the guy who tells the same joke about giving the honoree a Crown Victoria to go with his new Smokey the Bear hat. Every year. And they still laugh. Amazing. What you may not know is that he truly lives his life by the Scout motto, be prepared. Let me show you what I found under his chair tonight. What is he going to do with this? I don't know. Be prepared. And finally, there is the voice. Good evening. I'm Dick Story. Need I say more? So, volunteer, recruiter, fundraiser, Boy Scout, the voice. What can we do with that? So, Dick, as you have always touted the splendor of Howard County that sits between London and Los Angeles, we have opportunities for you at Howard County General Hospital, a member of Johns Hopkins Medicine. Opportunity number one. The voice of Howard County becomes the voice of Howard County General Hospital. Just imagine the overhead page in the intensive care unit when that rich baritone resonates, "Hi, I'm Dick Story." Dr. Levine, please call the emergency department. Or think how the doctors and nurses will jump to respond to patient resuscitation call when that familiar voice bellows, "Good morning and welcome to Howard County General Hospital. My name is Dick Story, and it's my privilege to be your overhead paging host for Howard County General Hospital, a member of Johns Hopkins Medicine. At this time, I'd like to ask the Code Blue resuscitation team to proceed to the intensive care unit. Meanwhile, the rest of you enjoy your day, because our friend in the ICU isn't." If you don't like that, how about opportunity number two, volunteer patient escort? Using all your well-honed skills, you will be assigned to escort our oldest, wealthiest patients from their cars to the hospital. Picture the Boy Scout helping the lady across the street. We know that we can count on you to engage them in a healthy banter so that by the time they get to the lobby, they've signed up for a multi-year pledge to the hospital's capital campaign. You're welcome, Evelyn. If you can't get a gift, never want to take no for an answer. We know we can count on your economic development skills to incite a walking accident that will certainly help us keep our emergency department busy and our bottom line strong. Sorry, folks, healthcare reform is pretty tough these days. Every healthcare professional needs the right tools, or at least the right clothes, and we have them for you, Dick. In fact, I brought a new uniform with me this evening. This is the Dick Story Patient Escort hat. And your official Howard County General Hospital volunteer smile. Have a seat.
It's warm.
Please. Dick, despite all of your corny jokes, your unbelievable hair, and the rest of the traits that will ensure that the story will be around for years to come, let me finish by saying that it has been a privilege to work with you, to learn from you, and to live in a community that is so much better because of your service the past 17 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul, you took my thing.
Yeah, you took it. Don't take his thing.
Yeah, don't take his thing. You need that.
I need my thing. I'm quite fond of it, actually. Here you go. Now I'm all Okay. No, I don't want your thing. I just want my thing. Paul is a man I admire for his height. All right. Very good. All right. Next up, please join me in welcoming the lovely, the talented, the also tall, Donna Richardson.
Hello, everyone. As you know, Dick is quite a flirt. And yes, you. And every woman in here has had some experience with Dick's story.
Good for you. I was asleep at that meeting.
So Jenny, I just want to say sorry. And for those of you that know me, you know that I work in media. And in media, there's always a disclaimer. So I have a disclaimer before I get started. So here we go. The following comments are not the views of the presenter, but those of the comedy writing staff forced to participate in this roast. This is only an act, created for the enjoyment of the audience, the embarrassment of the roaster, and the roastee. No animals or staff members were harmed during the creation of this act. This message provided by the National Football League. So for ladies out there and for the gentlemen that are unaware, we have Dick. And Dick has so many different charming lines that he shares as we're getting our hugs, and he makes each of us feel so special. And so you look forward to what is Dick going to say to you this time. Now, from one of his radio day spots he shared with me, he was supposed to be promoting Legs. Remember Legs? The pantyhose? Dick gets on air and upsets the general manager by saying, yes, legs, they go all the way up to a woman's pizzazz. And you know, he also has other witty little things that he has shared along the way, like a woman's dress should be like barbed wire fence. It protects the assets, but doesn't obstruct the view. And, as much as he makes everybody feel so special, I suspect that I'm not the only girl that he flirts with. I used to get handwritten notes from him, but of course they would start, "To whom it may concern." And Dick, the hair, the look, the voice that can make you melt. He's so handsome that for those ladies that are unfortunately going to the fertility clinic at Howard County General Hospital, they show pictures of Dick. In fact, he's been so successful with those pictures, they named the maternity wing after him. That's another story. And one day I come back from the office and there's this beautiful bouquet of flowers, and they're from Dick. So I call him up and I go, "Dick, these are beautiful. Am I the first woman that you've sent flowers to?" And I hear this, "Of course, Donna. Why does everybody always ask me that?" Because we love you. I've scolded him many times about being such a flirt, but his response to me was, "Why should I limit myself?" We had lunch the other day, and I was telling him I'd had a girls' night out, and a lot of the women from Howard County were laughing and joking and having drinks and talking about those men that we'd fantasized about seeing every once in a while. Dick says, "Wow, I wish I had been there." And I'm like, "Well, you should have been. Your name came up like a dozen times." And then my final. I lay awake at nights and I fantasize about Dick. But in my fantasies, I make certain parts black.
Well, and now it's my pleasure to introduce another person who often fantasizes about parts of Dick being black. You know him, you love him. Tonight you might not recognize him. Del Carpenter. Del?
Ego, ego, and more ego from this man. Where does the source of the ego come from? Yes, his hair. Samson and Delilah. Do you remember the story? What would Dick be like if he were bald? I am representing the bald community of Howard County. We are fighting back. And let me tell you something. I get this. I put this little wig on today, and I'm walking around. And they say, "Are you Little Dick?" Little Dick. So anyway, let's get started here. The fun is about to begin, Mr. Dick. Everybody wants to see Dick bald. The hair.
I'm ready to swim.
It's not a condom. Now, the bald community says, without his class, without his looks, without his rugged build, without his thick hair, what would he look like? The answer was Del Carpenter, so I'm not going to do it. We had to do a little research into this bald stuff. So we did. We got people on assignment. You'll hear more about that. We had a special assignment coming from Jack. He'll be talking about that. But, here's what we found out in our research. Number one, His organ donor card lists hair. His barber has a top secret clearance. His hair is insured by Lloyd's of London, and I have a copy of that certificate for your information if you'd like to see it. Farrah Fawcett commented on his hair. Let me ask you, Dick, did you use shampoo or Miracle Grow as a child? Oh, we get into the Rogaine. Most of us were having like the Flintstone vitamins for kids. His mother gave him Rogaine vitamins. This is a good one. We got this through the EDA. He had to cash in his IRA to buy enough just for men to cover the gray. So let's talk about the ego a little bit. Shifting back to the ego, he is very disappointed when he goes out in public and people do not recognize him. We went to one of our retirement communities, one of our senior citizen retirement communities, and Dick and I were in a little bit of a presentation there. And Dick sits next to an older lady in the crowd, and she says to the woman, "Madam, do you know who I am?" And she says, "No, but if you go to the front desk, they could tell you." And it worked. Now, getting a little back to the ego part, you got the JP and the Dick thing going on. Now, look, JP puts on a wig. You can't even tell. The man looks exactly the same. Look at JP, stand up. Look at it. Doesn't even look like it. So let me tell you how they got hooked up. I know. I'm behind the scenes. So JP and Dick go downtown Columbia, and JP says to Dick, "Look at all this property. It's going to be developed. Stick with me, kid. We'll make a fortune." So what happens? He sticks with them. The next thing you know, here's the first thing on the planning block, and I'm reading this right from the Howard County. Dick and JP want to start the first building project in downtown Columbia called the Bulldog Story Pyramid, and that's about to start. Now, most people are honored when they have a street after their name, like there's a street in Howard County, Broccolino Way. Come on, many of us have streets after our name. Not good enough for Dick. He wants it to be called Story Country, and that will be the new name of the Columbia market. That's what they're trying to do. Thank you very much for what you do, Mr. Story, and who's next?
Okay, Dell, you took my stuff too. Maybe Donna took my stuff. Donna, give me the rundown there, darling. There you go. You did, see? I did not take his stuff. Here, you want my stuff? No, I don't want your stuff, Dick. Even if it is black, I don't want it. Yeah. Okay. Gets me out of anything. When there's a slow moment in the evening, never fails. By the way, I just want to say... Oh, here it is. By the way, we are good. The chamber is going to be having a fundraiser. We're going to sell for $5. You can buy this as your ringtone. Right? You just set it whenever Dick calls you. Hello, it's Dick Story calling. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, looking down the line, a former employee of Dick's. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jack Gunther.
It's tough to follow Dave. It's tough to look at my former boss right here, and I'm going to totally throw him under the bus. And as he hands me this picture that I've worked for 7 years. Good evening. My name is Jack Gunther. I'm a recovering former employee of Dick Story. I want to thank the fellow members of the Roasting Tribunal, because that's what we are. So I want to thank everybody for being up here and really giving Dick a hard time. I also want to thank the Howard County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the opportunity to put my boss on the hot seat, which is, how many former employees are out there that would love to do that to their former boss? I also want to give a special thanks to JPB Enterprises. Thank you for hiring Dick Story.
He's all yours.
It is finally great to see that Dick Story got a job, so thank you. Where to start? And this is where my heart pulsates. It has been widely rumored since the day I started that Dick Story has the largest set of balls in Howard County. And there's a new ball that we want to give to Dick as part of his collection. Toasted. There you go. Working for Dick has been anything short of an experience. Many things are known far and wide about Dick's story. A few are true. Many are unconfirmed. What is universally acknowledged about Dick's story is his humor, wit, and famous radio voice that is somewhere between Casey Kasem and Barry White. You know, I have been the benefactor of lots of advice, career advice, how to handle prospects, how to handle the community, how to handle life. But I think the one thing that really surfaced is Dick once told me the secret to his success. If you don't succeed, destroy all the evidence as if you never tried.
I pressed the button.
Dick's story is also among a very unique class of people where people's names are descriptive of their personality. And I really think Dick's story is just that. So let's just start. Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly was elegant, beautiful, and graceful. Her name spoke that. Lady Gaga. Her name is completely as bizarre as she is, and her hair. And then we come to Tiger Woods. He is as ferocious on the golf course, and when he's not on the golf course, he's been known to be a bit frisky at times. And then we have our beloved Dick Story, a name that could be not be more appropriate, don't you think? Dick Story. Come on, people, get your heads out of the gutter. The man is probably the best storyteller in Howard County. Come on. Come on. All right, this is where my relationship with Dick probably derails, and he'll never talk to me again.
You're lucky.
One other Howard County mystery is Dick's hair. And we've seen the likes of Del Corfanta and J.P. Baldock wearing Dick's hair. This just isn't any old hair, folks. It simply does not move. I've seen the likes of 60-mile-an-hour wind not do anything to Dick's hair. Meanwhile, my car's blowing across the parking lot. His hair doesn't move. I have searched archives, interviewed family members. Thanks, Jenny, for helping us contact family members. And I've also been in touch with local paparazzis to find out there's got to be a picture of Dick Story's hair completely having a bad hair day. Perhaps a windy day on the golf course. Christmas morning. We all have bad hair on Christmas morning. And there's got to be a humid, groundbreaking ceremony where Dick has a complete, straggler, that's showing in a picture. Unfortunately, folks, there's no such luck. I didn't have any such luck. Clearly, Dick has destroyed what little evidence there may have been. So what is the secret? I am about to unlock, thank you to Dave Bittner, I'm about to unlock one of Howard County's best kept secrets. We're here today at the global headquarters of the Howard County Economic Development Authority, Dick Story's inner sanctum. I'm going to try to penetrate this highly secured facility, get inside, and show you the real secrets behind Dick's story.
Started this job, I kept being asked, can you keep a secret? Can you something so great, but yet not say a thing? And I thought, well, sure, I can maintain business deals and confidentiality, but I had no idea what I was in for. What I found just a few months ago before leaving my job here at the EDA was so over the top. The whole picture came full circle. I saw what they meant. This was the secret that I needed to keep. So let's go, I'll show you what it's all about. Okay. Do my keys still work? Oh, yes. All right, yes. Okay. Come on. This is amazing. This is inside access to what's going on. Oh, it's so amazing. It's sort of like Coca-Cola and the secret formula. Only 2 people know. And I'm burdened with being one of the people that knows about Dick Story's secret. Here's his office. I think we're clear. I can't believe it. My heart's pulsating with what I'm about to share with you. This is so at the core of this secret behind Dick's story. Here it is. Look. No one would ever believe it. So I had to bring you here to see it. Because I don't know what's going to happen to me. I am leveraging everything, my safety of myself, my family, my future. But I felt like you needed to see this special ingredient behind Dick Story's hair. Oh, right here. Here it is. More. Dick doesn't even have to leave his chair. He can just sit in his chair, reach over, and there it is. The special ingredient to Dick Story's marvelous hair.
So in closing, and I don't know how you close from that. I have friends from college that have seen that and they're thinking, what are you doing with your career? Many people have speculated why it took Dick so long to negotiate a deal with JPB. We all wondered. It's like, come on, sign the deal. It turns out it wasn't over money. Apparently, JPB's healthcare plan did not cover Rogaine. I love Dick. He's a great boss. Thank you, and all the best in your retirement.
All right, outstanding. Yeah. Next up, please join me in welcoming the lovely, the talented Melinda Madzel.
You stop it. The world knows by now that I'm not tall, Dick. Okay. Good evening, everybody. By now, you've heard all the stories, the jokes, and the shared memories. And if you're like me, you're really sick and tired of hearing about Dick's hair, Dick's voice, Dick's hair, Dick's voice, Dick's hair. Actually, that's pretty much it. There's not a lot to talk about. Well, and I would like to say to my good friend Donna, ditto. Dick and I go back more years, I think, than either of us care to remember. Actually, I met Dick the first week he was in Howard County. because I was on the board of the EDA at the time, the charter board. Now, when I told him last week, or a couple weeks ago, that I was asked to be a roaster, he said, "Not a good idea. You know too much." Well, I know a lot, but I just don't remember it at this stage of the game. So I got on the phone and I called a very dear friend, a mutual friend of ours who was on the board with me at the time, by the name of Maurice Simpkins. No. And Maurice reminded me of an incident that happened when we were both on the board, because Dick, one of the first things he did to us was introduce us to the opportunities at Preakness. Now, I'm originally from Kentucky, so the Kentucky Derby is huge in my life, and Preakness being the second crown, I was so excited to be going to the Preakness. Well, that first year, Dick said, "We are going first class." We went, it was first class. We had one of Ron Ayer's luxury corporate coaches. We had a VIP breakfast at the Hampton Court. We had an official escort to the corporate village and lunch in the governor's tent. And all of us were thinking, this is pretty good. This guy knows his stuff. We are really, in fact, as my dad used to say, we're in high cotton now. Well, the next year, there was some reality set in. There were a few budget cuts. So instead of the luxury coach and the Hampton Court breakfast, we got a semi-emphasis, remember the word semi, remodeled school bus and some cold egg McMuffins. Okay, but that didn't spoil our good time. We went to the Preakness, we schmoozed, we had a great time, and after a long day of talking to our guests, and Dick running around kept telling everybody, Howard County is the center of the universe, Howard County is the center of the universe. Even the drunks in center field at the Preakness said, "Would you shut up already?" Not only that, the governor said, "Will you shut up already?" It was, okay. Well, after we were all finished and we were all ready to come home, we had a wonderful day. We said, okay, we're going to make the most of this. The semi-remodeled school bus was not where it was supposed to be. In fact, not only was it not where it was supposed to meet us, it was going the other direction. So all of us are standing there yelling, "There goes the bus! There goes the bus!" Dick immediately sprang into action and started chasing the bus. He and Linda Wilson, they were booking and finally caught that bus, held them till the rest of us could get there. Now, a little side note, not one strand of hair ever got out of place while he was chasing that bus. Oh, damn it, another hair joke. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to do that. But Dick got us all on the bus, and we headed back to Columbia. Again, tired, happy, feeling good. However, there was another slight incident that occurred just as we got on the Beltway. There was a loud noise, a puff of smoke, and a driver saying, "Hit it, Dave."
Shit.
That's precisely what he said. Now, those three things together are not good. That is a trifecta of bad stuff. So anyway, Dick, the oldest living Boy Scout, once again saved the day. He jumped down off the bus because there were a couple of us, one of whom was my dear late friend Donnie Dingman and I, who had to, shall we say, use the necessary, okay? So Dick yells to some passing car. He says, "There's a woman about to give birth on here. There's a woman about to give birth." And this guy slows down, gives us a ride, brings us back to Columbia. Thank God he wasn't a serial killer. But Dick did save the day. And shortly after that, I did give birth to 3 new pairs of shoes at Nordstrom's, but that's another story. Now, Dick, you were such a good friend and lifesaver during the bus incident that if we were on a sinking ship together and there was only one life jacket, I'd miss you. And I'd think of you often. But let me give the devil his due. I mean, we've had a lot of good times with Dick, and he has done a lot for the county. He's brought a lot of major businesses, and with and without the help of the Preakness. I mean, he single-handedly closed the deal on the adult bookstore on Route 40. And to show his civic pride, he made it within walking distance of his office at the time, which was the little White House on Rogers Avenue. I'm saying, okay. As you know, Dick, I keep a list of the 10 men I'd most like to commit adultery with. Guess what? You're number 11. And I love you. I'm glad you're staying in the county and won't be too busy with JPB to have lunch with me on occasion. And if you pick up the check every now and then, you might work your way up the list.
All right. Next up, a man who I'm pretty confident to say is not on Melinda's list, Mr. Matt Cassidy.
You ready? No, you're not allowed to look at here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going for Mr. Dave Bittner. The guy's amazing, seriously. He's done a little bit of everything for this event. He's come up with some of the slides you'll see tonight, written some of the humorous stuff people have said. He's obviously a fantastic MC. Hell, I even seen him putting Aquanet in Dick's hair before he went on stage. And I had actually written in a joke about the Aquanet after Dell did what he did, but damn if it didn't move. That is amazing. Is everyone having an awesome time tonight, though? I mean, seriously. When Pam told me the Chamber was going to be doing a roast, I was like, killer. I always loved the Dean Martin roast. They're always a great time, and I knew tonight would be no different. And when she told me it was going to be Dick's story, I was like, I'll probably still go. I mean, free drinks, you know, what the hell, right? So, no, but I'm representing as chairman of the Young Professionals Network of Howard County, which is an organization that Dick's been very supportive of over the years. To a degree you guys may not even know, he actually founded the first Young Professionals Network back when he himself was just 29 years old, back in 1932. I mean, I know it's so crazy, it's almost funny, but seriously, he looks pretty good considering. Looks like he's aware, and Jenny, I think the vitamins are working. But some have said to me, you know, well, hell, why does Dick still go to all these events? I mean, he's not exactly young, and after talking to some of his coworkers, I'm not real sure about the professional part. So that begs the question, why does Dick still go to all these YPN events? So let's break it down. Young Professionals Network. Is it the network? Nah, Dick's got one of the most solid networks of anyone around. Is it the professional piece? No, again, I mean, Dick knows some of the most connected professionals of anyone. So I'm thinking that leads us to the young. Ladies, that is. Yeah, when old Tricky Dicky bursts down the doors at a YPN event, the young ladies line up in droves to get their hugs and kisses from Dick, the man, the myth, the legend story. Which he obligingly doles out with so much hesitation. Of course, the guys are standing around thinking, what a dick. But, you know, seriously, since being chairman of the YPN, I've noticed a dramatic increase in the numbers of ladies that are going to be attending our events when they know the hair will be there. But actually, that's all right. Yeah, keep it going. Have a drink. But seriously, though, that reminds me, Dick. A young lady interrupted me at lunch today. She wanted to speak with you at the last BAB. Turns out she's one of the newest members of the YPN, and she knew I'd be seeing you tonight, so she wanted me to give you a message. Hey, you think you're surprised? She whipped it off in the middle of Clyde's. I was like, what the hell? So I stuck the bra in my pocket and went back to eating my chili, having added yet another reason as to why I want to be Dick's story. Like I needed another one. But that's not mine. You can wear it, though. You can have it. Not mine. I'll give you your email later. All joking aside, just looking around the room tonight, it's an amazing thing to realize that every single person in this room is here because of one single person, Mr. Dick Story. And I think that's pretty cool. And as for being young, not many people have a schedule like this guy. I mean, every night of the week he's out rubbing elbows with Howard County's elite, giving keynote speeches, emceeing events. Meanwhile, I'm tucked in bed at 8 o'clock in my feety pajamas watching American Idol. I couldn't keep up with the schedule, and I'm not sure many could. As for being professional, we all know that Dick Story's the consummate professional. That is, unless you look at his Facebook profile. And there you go. See, that's good stuff right there. Can you see the status? Can you? Sorry, man, I had to take over. But really, though, I mean, from the bottom of our hearts, the young professionals are so happy with everything you've done to support us over the years. We would like to present you tonight with an award as the honorary young... That's not the award. I like that. An honorary young professional for life. And Dick, here's your certificate. And here's your award. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks so much for being a great sport. I hope you guys have had a good night and enjoy the rest. Have a good night. I'm not taking the bra. He's got to take that home.
And what do we say when the AV stops working? Thank you very much. All right. And please join me in welcoming our next roaster, our final guest roaster this evening, Mr. Anirban Basu. Anirban, come on up.
Thank you. Good evening. It is an honor to be here. Not really. But I thought it was appropriate that they named it Man of the Hour, because that's precisely what he contributed on a daily basis to Howard County. But it was an hour well spent. You would always see him attend the most attended event in Howard County that day. So it would be a county council meeting or a Columbia Association meeting, a wedding, funeral, whatever. But just to give this sense that he was there and working on behalf of the people of the county. And it was terribly effective. It has been terribly effective for 17 years. Whenever you go in this state and you ask people, and talk about Dick Story, they'll tell you he is probably the greatest economic development director in the history of this state. They will say that. And then you ask the question, and I have 3 minutes up here, and I'm trying to wrestle for material, and so I interviewed some of you, and I asked you, well, what has he done? What did he do? 17 years is a long time. What did he do? Let's tick off, please, for me his accomplishments. And you said, well, there was the big deal. And they said, Anirban, you don't understand economic development. It's not just about creating jobs. It's about preserving them. He's preserved so many jobs. So many companies are ready to leave every day for Prince George's County. They're ready to go. You can understand why. You get that. If it wasn't for Dick Story, they'd be gone. It's not to suggest that Dick Story hasn't made some big deals. I remember, economic development is a lot about positioning. So, for instance, the Chinese are doing a lot of deals in Africa to assure sort of access to key commodities. And the Americans, through their foreign policy, make sure that they have access to oil. And so what was Dick Story's thinking? How do I position Howard County for the 21st century? What is the key? So what is his big deal? Dryer's ice cream. And I remember when he pulled off that deal. He said, Basu, deal of millennium right there. That's it. Now, of course, the millennium was only like 6 years old at that point, and that's because all his other deals were. worth that. So yeah, it was a deal of the millennium, but I'm not sure what, if anything, he's accomplished, in fact, if you think about it. How hard is it to market Howard County? But I do wish you well, and I thank you for the opportunity. It's been a joy to be with you tonight, and now, it's time to have some economic development here in Howard County. So let's see what that looks like. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, Dick, it's not quite your turn yet. All right, a couple more bits of business before we hand the microphone over to Dick. It is the time of the evening when it is my pleasure to thank our premier sponsors this evening. Now, before you get up and start running to the bathroom, because we know this is the most exciting part of every evening when we thank the sponsors, I thought tonight, since it's a roast, we could make fun of our sponsors. So our first sponsor, the DARS team, Davis, Agnor, Rappaport, and Scowney. How about a round of applause for them? They made it possible tonight. A new client had just come in to see Paul Scowney. Paul's sitting right up front here. And this woman said to him, she said, "Can you tell me how much you charge?" And Paul said, "Of course, I charge $500 to answer 3 questions. And she said, "That's a bit steep, isn't it?" He said, "Yes, it is. And what is your 3rd question?" Our second sponsor this evening, the Columbia Bank. I don't want to tempt fate by saying that there actually is a slide that has the sponsors on it. I believe it's the next slide. I'm almost afraid to say next slide, but I'll keep going. The Columbia Bank, Dell's Bank, is all about customer service. In fact, I was standing in line at the Columbia Bank just last week, and there was a gentleman who was in line in front of me who was actually at the teller, and I felt terrible for the poor lady who was the teller. This guy gets up and he says, "Lady, I want to open a goddamn account at your bank." And the woman said, "Well, I'll be glad to help you, sir, but really there's no reason for that kind of language." And he said, "Look, I just want to open a goddamn account." And she said, "Sir, really, there's no reason for this kind of language." Well, Dell overheard this, and he came running up front, and he said, Sir, please, is there something I can do to help you?" And the guy said, "Look, I just won $10 million in the lottery, and I want to open a goddamn account." And Dell said, "And this bitch won't help you?" And finally, Corporate Office Properties Trust, the COPT people. There were 2 women who were walking through the woods when a frog called out to them, and they said, "Help me, ladies. I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I've been cursed, and I've been transformed into a frog. If only one of you will kiss me, I will be returned to my former state." And one woman pulled out her purse. She picked up the frog, and she stuffed it in her purse. The other woman said, "Didn't you hear him? If you kiss him, he will turn into a commercial real estate broker." And the second woman said, "Sure, but these days a talking frog is worth much more than a commercial real estate broker." So thank you for our sponsors. I believe this is the first time in the history of Howard County that people have actually paid attention during the sponsor so folks, you got your money's worth tonight. Thank you very much. Now, it has been... This never gets old. It has been my distinct pleasure to work with Dick over the years. Dick has come into our studios at Pixel Workshop to record many, many hours of voiceovers over the years, and so I have hours and hours of tape of Dick saying all kinds of things about all kinds of people here in Howard County. At this moment, Dick is sitting here thinking to himself, what did I say about JP before he was my boss? Well, lucky for you, what happens in the studio stays in the studio. Thank you. He says thank you very much. Next time, lunch is on you. So, however, we couldn't let it go by without hearing a little bit of the golden voice of Dick's story. So, with a tip of the hat to Jimmy Kimmel, we're doing a feature tonight that we call Dick's Story, Unnecessary Censorship. Let's roll the tape.
Froggy. You ready?
I'm ready when you are.
This is going to go well, isn't it, Dave? Rick Morgan is every economic developer's dream come true. A trusted volunteer who humbly offers his time and talents without ego or personal agenda, and who is motivated simply by the desire to his community. We are pleased to name Rick Morgan Meada's of the Year. Margaret Mead once observed, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can the world." What began as an effort to the neglected eastern end of Baltimore's celebrated Inner Harbor today has become a case study in successful mixed-use development that enables Baltimoreans to and play within an 8-block waterfront area. Harbor East is a $2 billion, 38-acre masterpiece that features retail, Class A office, and residential space, 5 hotels, restaurants, and amid tree-lined walkways and an extension of Baltimore's Harbor Promenade. The only thing more impressive than the scope of the economic impact of Harbor East is the of its developers, led by H&S Properties Development Corporation. Hundreds in the hotels, restaurants, and stores, making the project a key of both skilled and unskilled workers. The Business Person of the Year award is given to someone whose history of business development not only fosters business growth within the county, but also contributes to the economic well-being and overall quality of life here.
Wait for
Few
it.
have done more than our 2009 Business Person of the Year, J.P. Boldock. Often appearing larger than life itself, J.P. comes from humble beginnings and has more than a few hurdles in his lifetime. His family-owned investment company almost collapsed, but within 3 years, this hard-working, persevering businessman turned JPB Enterprises into a successful operation. It in more than 20 companies, including software developers, vice firms, and restaurant chains. Among the local companies whose bottom lines have been Davis Calibration and the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. The Green Turtle has become the Green Turtle Incorporation and has 10 new restaurants in the past year. He's a critical thinker who often others to question the status quo. He's a who compels others to their limits. The Howard County Chamber of Commerce 2009 Business Person of the Year is J.P. Baldock.
That's pretty much the way it is when he comes in to record a voiceover. I have to say that it's been my pleasure to serve as the MC of a few events here in Howard County. Although I really get tired of every time I answer the phone, the people say to me, "Hey, listen, Dave, we called Dick Story and he's not available. What are you doing? What are you doing next week? We have an event." Well, we couldn't put it off any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming, for his rebuttal, the man of the hour, the one, the only, Mr. Dick Story.
You can stand if you want. We're out of here at 8:30. Good evening. I'm Dick Story with JPB. I was told I can't give a commercial, but JPB is involved in 3 lines of business, including real estate, business advisory services, and equity. And whatever else JP tells me to say. That's some fine hair you got, JP. Thank you. Where do I start? Isn't it nice everybody got dressed up for this? Have you seen the March of the Penguins? Picture Dennis Lane with an egg on top of his feet. That'll keep you up all night. I Wikipedia'd. Mac, is that how you say it? Yeah, I Wikipedia'd roast. just so I knew my role here. A roast is an event in which an individual is subjected to a public presentation of comedic insults, praise, outlandish true and untrue stories. I'll come back to that. And heartwarming tributes. The implication being that the roastee is able to take the jokes in good humor and not as serious criticism or insult, and therefore show their good nature. Their limits. It goes on to say, it is seen by someone as a great honor to be roasted, as the individual is surrounded by friends, fans, and well-wishers who can receive some of the same treatment as well during the course of the evening. And it is my turn. The party and presentation itself are both referred to as a roast. The host of the event is called the roast master. Anyone who is honored in such a way is said to have been roasted. Ladies and gentlemen, I am well done. Dave, here's your stuff.
Thank you.
So what is my role here? I am not going to rebut all the lies, untruths, slander, and just plain fun that you guys were having at my expense. My role here is to actually, and I asked Pam, where are you, Pam? Hey, there's Pam. I asked Pam, what can I do to add to the success of this event? Obviously, it's too late to save it. But she said, well, maybe you can come up with some speaker gifts. So I've come up with some speaker gifts and ways to hand them off to people like Dennis Lane, my queen. But then there's that. I was looking for a button-up-your-lip kind of award. It's not in here. That's good. And the best thing I could find is brass. Brass. Yeah, brassy. Seems to fit. Dennis, here is your official Howard County belt buckle. Wear it in pride every time you're on the radio. From the bottom of your heart. That is the Howard County. And to Paul Glykoff, who we refer to as Tall Paul, because we were on leadership together with the other Paul, who's not. Paul Glykoff. I couldn't find a bedpan. But, attention, Paul Glykoff to the bedpan ward, please. And that really would have worked in what he said. But Paul, I was in the chess club in high school. I actually was. And my season was unblemished. You know that Paul is typically a pretty quiet guy. He showed a brief glimpse of the other side tonight, where he came up with some material that obviously somebody else wrote. I still have feathers from those bimbos who brought me here. But Paul, for you, because you're so quiet, we have a little bell that we can tie on Paul, so we know where you are. But that's not all. That's not all. Paul is, you can't hear me talking. We can hear you. Can you hear me talking? Yeah. This went to the bottom of the pile, and for good reason. How am I doing, Toby? Okay, I've got my coach here. Paul is the quintessential Boy Scout, and so we've got him. You know, when you're in Boy Scouts, you trade patches. Patches are a way of life, and it's your currency in Boy Scouts. Here's your Scout Ranger Philmont badge. See, I'm not saying nasty things about these people who did about me, but then feel bad. Then there's Donna Richardson. You're going to get the red bra back. Where is that underwear? I absolutely love Donna. She is the classiest lady. I can see eye to eye with her. when she's not wearing her big girl shoes. Because she wears her big girl shoes, she's taller than I am. And that's scary. But I do look up to her. And second only to a few women in my lives, Donna, you were there. You're not at number 11. In fact, you are number 2. In Columbia and Ellicott City. And that line was for drug fare. And there was a jingle, open and close, and the middle part I had 3 different products that I could promote and had about 10 seconds apiece. And the line was, legs pantyhose, they fit you all the way up to your pizzazz. Almost got fired over that, but it was clever. And drug fare couldn't keep their stocks on the shelves, so it wasn't bad. Donna, I'm not saying anything about black parts. That's been whited out. But you can keep whichever fingers are appropriate. I'm being hard on Donna, but then there's Dell. Little Dick. His words, I'm only quoting. In spite of the evidence that Dave has so frequently played before you, I rarely swear. And he captured that one moment in history and has worn it out. I thank you for putting your condom on my head. That was nice. It certainly was unique. And I've never been dressed like this before in public. And if my hair wasn't plastic, it would have moved under that. Those of you who know Dell as the modern version of Mr. Green Jeans knows that he is in the energy business, probably using Columbia Bank money when they don't even know it. So I have a 60-watt Sylvania lightsaber bulb for you to install wherever you think it should go.
Where's the other one?
I used the other one. You think I'd give him both of them? There you are, Dell. That's the best bright idea I had in talking about Dell. But then there's Jack Gunther. It was a long time we worked together, wasn't it, Jack? I had no idea he was sneaking into my office and messing with my stuff. Yeah, it's Tim's office now. I wanted to commemorate Jack's, first of all, his sports fanaticism. For all of you who don't know, Jack is a Redskin fan. Okay, we're going to line up later and charge. I looked all over last night for my Ravens hat to give it to you, and couldn't find it. I thought I could give Jack my General Growth Properties mug. But Barbara, this is special. I'm keeping it. So for Jack, this is the first one I've ever given away. Your own JPB. Here's time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was full when I got here. And notice, I'm not allowed to do a commercial for JPB. But this one has the green turtle on one side and JPB on the other side. My job is to spread the word that there is a JPB out there, and it's not just JP. There's a whole team of experts. And we used to call them the Enterprise. They're just now under the umbrella. So, Jack, thank you for everything that you did. I don't know what you did either. But we sure had fun. that story that Melinda told about that bus ride and the Preakness was nearly true. It was a yellow bus. Mark Joseph, Ron Air, never forgave me for that 1 year not using his service. So for you, Melinda, you're riding on air. Now, I didn't know what story Melinda was going to tell. I'm guessing because they didn't preview any of their lies for me. So I had to guess. And I was afraid my Mont Blanc was in the floor. No, this is somebody else's. I'm keeping it. That's mine. There was a time that Rich and Melinda had a cocktail party. There was other things, but cocktails is the operative word. There was food at their house in Watermark. And there was an accusation that Maggie Brown and her husband Nesbitt and Ginny and I were in this one little area, and some of the tableware was broken when we left. Now, the assumption was, and the accusation was, that it was us who broke the wine glasses. Through the miracle of monkey glue, or whatever they call it, gorilla glue, here is your wine glasses back. I'm over my self-imposed time limit, but then we're down to the last page. Mac Cassidy. He said I could be in the Young Professionals Network because I'm grandfathered. And it's not true about those young women. They really kind of like the young guys. 1932?
The details are a little shaky.
Yeah. Well, I could attribute my longevity to clean living, but all I'd like to say about that, Mac, Jack, keep this in mind, alcohol is a preservative. Water causes rust. I'll say no more about that. I sound like Forrest Gump up here. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then, oh, Mac, here's an Oriole shirt. So, wonder what else is in here. Got an Oriole cap. Anybody want an Oriole cap? Just in case. So then there's Anirban Basu. Man of the hour. Could have called me a minute man. I think that was Melinda's. But anyway, you might not know this, but that Anirban Basu was the head of RESI, or was at RESI, Regional Economic Studies Institute at Towson University, my alma mater, between Michael Conti and Darai Sarani. And so he's kind of the dash between those two. But a dashing young man he is indeed. So I brought Anirban, don't pronounce the R, Anirban, to reminisce the swoop of Towson University and his own little Towson tiger keychain, which actually says on the back, "It's all Greek to me." So, now I'm back on David's pages. Can I read some of your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I didn't use any of it, so maybe you'll get some laughs.
We've had a lot of fun tonight, and nothing has been so brutal that I'll lose a whole lot of sleep tonight. I will be sending nasty grams to a number of people out of the sight of the witnesses that are gathered around here together. But we've had a lot of fun, and hopefully we've raised some money for the Dennis Lane Retirement Fund. I really don't know what the charity is. I had no idea that you had that much dirt on me, but I'm really appreciative that some of the dirt I know you had is still in the vacuum cleaner or wherever you keep it. I will not forget. I have retired from the Economic Development Authority and have joined JPB. but I can't talk about that. But you should know that Laura Newman starts Monday as the head of economic development in Howard County, and if you really want to see something good happening, along the lines of what Anibon said, I was just a witness for the last 17 years, but you're going to have a real champion in Laura who's going to come in, hit the ground running. Whatever you do, don't show her the kind of love that you've shown me here tonight. Just give her your cooperation. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to get the job done. Stay out of her way. Yeah, won't that be nice? Give her yours. You're done. It's my turn. For me, I've now enjoyed 2 weeks and 3 days at a company that I'm not supposed to name, but we're at 8820 Columbia 100 Parkway on the 4th floor, and I'm having a ball working with a really exciting team there. Just remember, we're still in the economic development business. We're approaching it from a slightly different perspective, and the center of our universe is Howard County, and that's the way it should be. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for applauding at some really bad humor, and hopefully the bar is open again.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. And as a good friend of mine likes to say, drive fast, take chances. Let's do it one more time. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Good night, everybody.